Welcome everybody to the latest edition of the Trust Me, I'm a Lawyer podcast. My name is Spencer Aronfeld, and with me, as always, live from the campus of Florida Gulf Coast University is my co-host and our executive producer, Nory the Kosher Kanye Aronfeld. Nory, how you doing, buddy?
I'm great. Thank you, Dad, for having me back on the podcast.
Well, I literally couldn't do it without you, Nory, and it's good to see you. I'm glad that you were able to fit us in between classes, the Florida Gulf Coast University Running Club, your role and responsibility as a senator on campus, and as an aspiring professional music producer. So I'm really thrilled that you were able to get all this done. I'm really proud of you. And I think as an aspiring young entrepreneur, you're going to be particularly impressed with the very, very special guest that we have with us here today. This is one of the most extraordinary human beings I have ever had the privilege of meeting. This guy is not just a great guy, he's actually turned out to be one hell of a lawyer. Why don't you tell everybody who our guest is?
Today, we have the privilege of having a conversation with Karel Suarez, who's a longtime friend, as well as a somewhat new lawyer from graduate of FIU in 2016, and is going to talk with us about international law, which is one of his practice areas, and just have a great conversation and learn about him.
Fantastic. Welcome to the podcast, Karel.
Thank you guys for having me. I really am looking forward to it. It's a really exciting moment to have everyone here together.
Well, no one's more excited than I am. And I think what better way to set the stage of your story than to start at your very humble beginnings. And if you could share with us where you started from and how you ended up where you are today.
All right, so I am actually Cuban. I actually was born in Cuba. I went to law school my first year, University of Havana in Cuba. And then one day I actually, as a crazy moment, decided, I told my mom, I want to become an attorney, but I want to become an attorney in the United States. My mom said, that's a great idea you have, but we don't have anybody in the United States. So how are we going to do this? I said, Mom, just get me to the United States and I'll figure out. So I actually flew to Mexico, crossed the border, and I started living here with friends of my family for a year. They later on became my godparents. So for a year, I actually was working at the beginning, I was working as a valet parking, food runner, server at a restaurant on the Gables. The name of the restaurant at that time was called Porfin, and now is Booyah. Then during the time that I was working as a server, I was going to undergrad, and then finally after 6-7 years working as a server and all these different positions at the restaurant, I decided to join and go to law school. But then during that time that I'm a server, and I love the story because it's so crazy how we are back here now. During that time that I was a server, what I like about that restaurant, that location in the Gables, is that you had a lot of different attorneys that will come to the restaurant, right? And that you will serve them. And in my idea, I always like the opportunity to serve as an attorney so that I could talk to him, learn about those things. Because again, I came here without speaking any English. I didn't have any family. And of course, I wanted to become an attorney, but it was something kind of like, at that moment, kind of like difficult to think that I was going to be able to achieve because, when I was with servers, they would ask me what I want to do. And I would not speak English. I would say, I want to be an attorney. And they were like, oh yeah, I want to be an astronaut. So it was something, kind of like at that moment, I mean, it's not engineer that maybe you know how to do things and you can not have to, speak English that much or have the use of the language that much, but it was, a different career. So, but during that time in the restaurant, I actually meet different attorneys. And one of the attorneys that I meet is actually Aronfeld. And but the funny thing, and that's why I remember so much about him, is that he used to love this tuna tartare that we had at the restaurant. But he used to love it in a specific way. He didn't want the little small plate that it would come. He wanted like the big plate just to like spread out all the tuna over the plate. So I, always had that relationship with him. I would always bring it already before he would ask for it. And then there was one time during the time of the restaurant that he goes, hey, why do you come to my, he learned that I wanted to become an attorney and all this. Why don't you come to my office? So I go to his office one day and he sees me on his desk And all of a sudden he goes like, he's talking with someone like this on the phone, and he goes like, hey, I'm talking to my IT guy. Can you just handle this? And then he leaves. And I'm like, there, I'm a server. Like, I'm not even in law school. I was like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Like, or whatever, that I like that, that he always is so upfront and so like, hands-on with me. So that was the time at the restaurant. Then finally I take the ELSA, decide to go to law school. And then in 10 years that I have, got here from Cuba, I finally became an attorney.
It's absolutely amazing.
Amazing.
And I am so honored that you incorporate me in your story. For whatever small and incidental role I played in your success, I'm so proud of you. I can tell you a lot of people, Karel, that had the Spencer Aronfeld experience while they were thinking about becoming a lawyer, decided not to become a lawyer after spending time with me. So
one thing that you actually helped me a lot, and it was that book, Making It Your Own. It's funny because now I decided to open my own firm, but during that time, that book really helped me. And the networking portion of that book. And there's still things that I remember from that book. For example, you got to do your business cards that is different from anybody else's business cards, that it has something different, that is bigger. I remember yours, it was like this big card that you cannot even fit anywhere, but it was different from any other cards. I remember you, in the book talking about in a coffee shop, kind of like, having the first interviews with your clients. And that's what I'm actually doing right now. I'm actually, I don't have an office. I'm actually here, working from home right now. And all my meetings during the day are in coffee shops or restaurants or the client's office. So I learned a lot from the book. That is funny because if I don't think about it, I don't remember that it was from the book, but I do it instantly, so.
Well, I'm sure you could write the sequel to the book because you've taken my ideas and taken them to the next level and beyond. So let's talk for a second. One of the many things you were able to accomplish that I never did is you actually got a law firm to hire you out of law school. When you graduated, you worked for one of the most well-respected firms in the country. What was that experience like for you?
So, like I said, during my law school time, I said, I'm going to focus on my grades, but I definitely going to focus on my network, right? I don't have a family member that is an attorney. I didn't have any family member at all, but I didn't have anyone that I know that would put me, in contact with this guy. So I said, listen, this is my goal. I need to meet everyone. I mean, when I meet everyone, the president of the Florida bar, the U.S. attorney for the Southern District of Florida, every judge in town, I need to meet everyone. So that helped me to put myself in different positions, along different people that they like the different, internships that I was doing. And kind of like, that's also what I did in law school. I wanted to become a all-around attorney, right? I did an internship with a judge, a federal judge. I did an internship in Congress for a congresswoman. I actually did an internship at the U.S. Attorney's Office, Narcotics Division. I interned for MDO Partners, which is a boutique, compliance law firm. So I kind of like did a little bit of everything because I really didn't know during law school what I wanted to do. And I also, in my perspective, whenever I want to hire someone, I want to hire someone that really knows a little bit about different things, different aspects. So I guess that's what helped me when I was deciding to go into, into my practice. I was able to get a job at a firm right out of law school, which it was really, really hard. And again, I think it was my grades, but it was also the fact that I had those great contacts. Also the fact that during that time, the relationship between United States and Cuba was starting to begin. I started helping U.S. companies that wanted to go invest in Cuba on my own. I created a good relationship with the Cuban embassy, great contacts in Cuba, and kind of like that pushed me into that firm and say, listen, not only that I know people, it's like, this is what I have, this is what I have done. And that kind of like helped me, they were like, well, but you just graduated. How do you have all these contacts? That that's what I did in law school, besides my grades.
And what's so amazing about this, Karel, and let me just point something out to you, Nory, and to our listeners. I have always preached the importance of networking. Whether you're a lawyer, a doctor, a sushi maker, or a music producer, the more people you know, the more opportunities you have. Everyone that you meet is an opportunity either to help you or you help them. Correct. And you help them, they help you. It's a great, great fundamental key to success, I think.
But now, wait, just to touch that point, yeah. If you buy me, I was in my third date of law school. And then I remember I started Wednesday in law school, and you invited for Friday for the attorney breakfast club. my third day of law school at 6 in the morning. And I was like, oh my God, you know, do I really want to go? It's so early and this and that. I mean, what am I going to get right now? I don't even need a job right now. I just started law school. And that led me, you know, to say, listen, you know, you got to go. You always have to be out there, whatever. Let's go. At that Attorney Breakfast Club, that's how I actually met Richard Montes de Oca, the, you know, the managing partner of NDO Partners. And that led me to then have a job at his, you know, later on as a law clerk. So again, you never know who you meet. You never know what's going to happen. And that's why you got to always put yourself out there, you know.
But Karel, a lot of it is you, because I have met hundreds of young lawyers and law students who I've invited to the Attorney Breakfast Club, for instance. They are too busy on a Friday morning to go. And so are too busy to come to my office, or too busy to go to a depot, or whatever it is that I'm doing, or lawyers to the rescue. And you see the opportunity, and then you are able to maximize that opportunity. That's the difference with you, is you see it, you take it, and then you maximize it better than anyone I've ever met.
Yeah, I think
anyone
also
who
like,
does it the way you do it.
I think, for example, like when you go to a networking event, it's not only about the networking part. That's just like 20% of what you do. The 80% and the part that really is the one that you can say, listen, you know, that was a productive event, is the after part, you know, the follow-up, the sending an email saying, hey, you know, let's touch base, you know, one day for coffee. And you don't even know what you're going to talk at that meeting, right? You're going to that meeting, you're like, people ask you, so what are you going to talk with that attorney that you just met 2 days ago? I'm like, I don't know, something will come up, you know? So, and again, I always do things not expecting anything in return right away, right? I don't expect anything in return right away. I just meet people, and something might happen in the future, something might not. They might become my bosses or my friends. I don't know, you know? So it's not always about what I'm actually trying to achieve from going to that specific meeting. It's always saying something is gonna happen. We never know, but it might happen, you know? So.
That's great.
So fast forward to today, you're no longer with that law firm. Instead, you decided to open up your own law firm. Tell everybody about why and where and what you're doing so we can get in touch with you.
So I actually decided during the pandemic, I was a lot of time at home. I was, you know, kind of like busy, but at the same time, I saw myself that I was able to manage and really manage the office, manage the time, manage the expectations of the clients. And I realized, man, I think I can do this. I think I can do this on my own. And the reason that I actually call my firm the legal team, that's the name of my firm, is that I would love to become the legal team for the different companies that I represent, right? I want to be able to be that person that they call at 2 in the morning, at 3 in the morning, because they have an issue either with a corporation or a personal issue. I want to be part of their success, right? I want to be able to go with them for the next 30 years being their attorney, right? Being someone that not only do what I can do for them, the service that I provide, but also that I can help them to get an attorney that does personal injury, an attorney that does family law, you know, that I want to be that right hand on the legal side for all these companies. So that's why, you know, the idea of the name, the legal team. I want to be able to think that, you know, I guess back in the days, attorneys and doctors, they were part of the family, right? They were someone that would invite for dinner at events that you have then. As that's what I want to be. I want to be that person to them. I don't want to be the guy that is charging every single second because we talk on the phone, because I send you a text message. I want to charge you when I do the work, right? But when we're having a conversation, that I might give you some legal advice in that conversation, I might give you some recommendations. I'm not going to charge you for every 2 minutes that we, you know, discuss on the phone. That's not me. And that's, I guess, why I also went away from big firms. I want to be able to have that personal touch, that personal relationship with the client. So what I do, and that's why some of the practice that I trying to focus with the company is mostly international law. I want to be able to help companies that want to do business with a Panamanian company, with a company in Dominican Republic, with a company in Chile. So what I created is that I created a group of different firms that are really important in those countries, that they help me whenever we have a contract that needs to be drafted under Chilean law. So I help my client to be connected with that law firm, or if my client, you know, I also do international litigation. If my client gets sued, I try to bring maybe the lawsuit here to Miami so that my client, you know, gets to litigate here in Miami as a venue. But I also, what I'm trying to do is to help the companies on the corporate side, like the corporate governance and some of those, corporate documents and corporate agreements that you need to have in place, or service contracts. Because again, I want to be able to be the person that you see as success, not the person that is the litigation guy. Only I can't go to him when I'm in trouble. I don't want to be only the trouble guy. I want to be able to be the company guy that helps you, like an outside general counsel. I think that's the best way to put it.
Yeah, I think that's wonderful. You're not just the lawyer, you're the counselor.
Correct.
And you're someone that's going to be there 24/7 for your clients. So folks that are watching this that are interested in consulting with you, Karel, have ideas about doing business overseas, or they're overseas and they want to do some business here. Right. What's the best way for them to get in touch with you?
So I currently don't have a number that they can call. I usually give my cell number, and my cell is 786-307-2393. Again, this is what I do. I love to do this, so you could welcome to call me at any time. I love what I do. And also the name of my firm is The Legal Team. You can find it on the website, it's legalteamservices.com. My email is ksuarez@legalteamservices.com. And again, I will go to you. I try to maybe have a Zoom call if you're overseas, and try to help you, trying to accomplish whatever you want to accomplish here in the United States. And again, those contacts that helped me through law school now are also going to help me, when I'm an attorney, right? So that's the good thing that I started out doing when I was in law school, because now I do it, but I don't do it at the same level that I used to do when I was a law student, because I already know, a lot of those people. So kind of save me time, now.
Nory, you have some questions?
I'm a little curious as to why you were drawn to become a lawyer in the first place.
I always, that's a good question. So I always, since I was a kid, I was 8 years old, I always wanted to become an attorney. And I don't really have a fancy answer or why, because I want to defend justice and all that. It was always that idea that, your parents and everyone will tell you, you're going to be an attorney, or you're going to, you like to argue or stuff like that. And I'm this type of person that whenever I make that decision, I want to do something, I'll do it. For example, so when I was 8 years old, I told my dad I wanted to become an attorney. And from that moment on, it never stopped, right? So it never stopped to the point that I wanted to go to a different country with a different language. And I wanted to become an attorney in that place. And I guess that's also what led me to do it, right? Because a lot of people get here and they, I don't know, from whatever different reasons, you get a job that maybe is giving you a little bit of money and you don't have time to study. So you actually, just keep doing that. You don't achieve what your goals are. For me, it was, I came here with no family, and my only goal, the only one priority, it was to become an attorney. And I think that's also what led me to do it, right? To accomplish it.
An amazing, amazing story. Nory, anything else?
No, I'm good. That was beautiful.
It is absolutely beautiful. It's inspiring. I am incredibly proud of you and really proud to be a friend of yours. I urge anyone out there who's got some interest or need to consult with a real old school consigliere, really a counselor at law, to call Karel and his talented team at The Legal Team. We'll put the information on the links below. And we thank you so much, Karel, for joining us. It's great to see you, my friend.
Thank you for this moment. I love to go back and remember those moments where I was just a law student.
And I look forward to having plenty of good memories with you in the future, too.
Thank you.
Thank you, buddy.
Thank you, Nory.
Thank you, Nory.